It's Sunday, so welcome to my style segment. This is Beth from Style at a Certain Age, and if this is your first time visiting, welcome. I'm so happy you stopped by. The weather is definitely getting a little chillier, and hey, November is just a couple of days away. I don't know how that happened, but we know time flies. So I thought it would be really good to talk about coats today because, baby, it is cold outside. And even here in Georgia, the temps have really dipped down in the 50s, 60s. So it's time to pull out some coats. I'm going to go through 10 of my favorites that I think that every closet should have. And if I know a little bit of the history, I'm going to throw that at you. But I am ready to dive in, and I hope you are too. And first up is the trench coat, which makes my list every single year. This is such a versatile coat, due in part because it is perfect in the fall and the spring and on mild winter days. It originally got its start in the military in World War I when the military officers were sported around wearing the trench coat. Thomas Burberry is the one, and Burberry is probably the most iconic classic trench out there. But he was the one that's really credited for bringing this into popularity due to inventing a fabric in the 1800s called gabardine that kept the rain out. And the next coat that I think everybody should have, although it's really more of a jacket, is the leather jacket. Or if you are interested, if you don't like leather or suede, or if you have a leather and you want to add one on, I would then say suede. But this is a great weight for fall. Leather and suede are just the iconic fabrics for fall. I think that's one of the reasons why we love fall so much. So our boots are leather or suede, and our jackets are too. But it goes great with, you know, you can pop this over your jeans, or you could pop it even over a very, you know, casual skirt or even a dress. But it can just take you a lot of places. And I just like to start off with, you know, brown or a black first, and then you know, pick a color that suits your fancy. Next on my list is the quilted field jacket, which there again kind of started life off in the military with the field jacket. And then there was a gentleman that came along and in 1965, and then he put the quilting to it. Became very, very popular with the British royal family. Queen Elizabeth is the one that's really credited with putting this into popularity, and it has just been going strong ever since then. And it's a really nice weight for fall. The traditional colors are olive and navy, but now they come in so many different colors. So the quilted field jacket. And a peacoat, which is worn by men and women, is probably just as popular as the trench coat is. And it's characterized by a double-breasted front and gold buttons, although you can find, you know, brass buttons and silver buttons. It also started life off in the military, this time with the Navy, and this was created for the Navy sailors to keep that cold wind off of them. The petty officers were known to wear them, but here in America, the sailors that had to climb the rigs were always seen sporting a peacoat, and I love them. Next up on my list is the toggle coat. Again, it's a very classic look with the toggles. They have a hood. Both men and women wear them. This one actually has a detachable hood. I prefer, unless it's really, really cold, not to have a hood. But it is made out of wool, and is the length is just going to hit just below your hip. So look for a toggle coat if you want to be a classic fashionista. But if you're not a fan of the toggle coat, another alternative would be this is a funnel neck coat, again with the wool, and so it's just a little bit sleeker and a little bit slimmer. So there's an alternative to the toggle coat. We all need a long coat that's going to carry us all the way through winter. You can either have a camel coat or a black coat. It can either be one of those, the belted ones, or it can be a single breast or a double breast. This just happens to be a double breast. Black, brown, beige, camel, those would be my starting colors. But a long coat to keep you warm and a little bit tailored all through winter. For chilly, casual weekend days, nothing beats a puffer jacket. And this was invented by Eddie Bauer, I believe it was in the 1920s, but he was on a fishing expedition and caught a very bad case of hypothermia due to the fish freezing against his body. And so he's the one that's credited for the puffer jacket. And boy, does it keep you warm when it is cold outside. But a very casual look. This one happens to be a Marmot, one of my favorite brands. And if you live in a very, very cold climate, you are going to want to have a parka on hand with a hood. And that's when I do like to have a hood, is when those temps are dipping, below zero. This one happens to have fur. You can get faux fur on your hood. The most classic color is the olive green, but nothing is going to keep you warmer than a parka come January, and you've got a little bit of snow and a little bit of wind. And it's always nice when I have all the basics covered to have an evening jacket. And this one happens to be a really beautiful fabric. It has a zip-in, zip-out lining, so I can make it as warm or as light as I want it to be. It's portrait collar, but you can go with lots of different fabrics, lots of different looks for an evening coat, but the fabric is just going to be a little bit different than your day-to-day, and it's not going to be as warm, but it is going to be lovely to pull out when you have a little fancier outfit to wear. And last but not least, I call this a statement coat. So this is a fabric, this is a pattern that you really love, and it's kind of a wow statement. This is a wool camo topper. I also have this Dalmatian coat over here, but these are just very fun to wear when winter gets a little weary and you just want something other than your basic camel or black coat. So a statement coat when you have the bases covered in all the other jackets. Those are my 10 picks for coats, and I've had many of these for years and years and years. One reason why I love classic style is because you can have items for years and years and years. So I'm not afraid to hit a higher price point, because I know it's going to be an investment piece, and I will definitely get my money's worth out of it. But if you have all of the basics in place, feel free to find those fun, trendy coats that are going to be, maybe here today and gone tomorrow. But definitely my go-tos are the trench, the parka, the field jacket, and then just your classic single-breasted or double-breasted long coat. So that's where I start, and then you just kind of branch out from there. I will definitely link up similar items, because most of these coats, as I mentioned, I've had for years and years, so I will pick out several that are currently available, and then you can click on those. That will be in the description box down below. And head over to the blog, and I'll also link that up, where you'll see some more photo inspirations. I know many of you love to have static pictures that you can look at for long periods of time. So head on over to the blog for that. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I like to know what is resonating with you and what's not. And of course, subscribe, because I'd love to have you join the family over here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you on Thursday. And we're going to be talking about, because I live in Georgia and our football team happens to be doing really, really well, and we have a home game this week. So I'm going to be talking about tailgating. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.